So apparently this is a money situation, which doesn't shock me, but here's what does. Ohio State asked them to not attend the national title celebration. I mean, come on, man. What are we doing? Chuck said, what did Ryan Day do to make him do this? What's in it for Knowles? Must be something else going on besides money.
Go Blue, baby. 4-0. 4-0. Let's go Blue, baby. Hey. Woo! Attaboy, Ryan Day. Extend them.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hope all of you having a great Tuesday. If not, hope this video can make it a little bit better. Man, oh man. What in the world's going on with well, bro, Ohio State? One would think after winning the national championship, a very prestigious honor at that, it'd be all sunshine, rainbows, and butterflies, right? You wouldn't think they have a problem in the world because the only conversation that was really going on surrounding the Buckeyes the past couple of years is whether or not they should fire Ryan Day. Well, now that conversation is completely out the window. He's here to stay, but it's still not smooth sailing. I know what you're sitting here saying, Matt, what in the world's going on? Great question, my friend. I love to answer it. I don't really know how to ease into this. Their defensive coordinator just left, and no, he wasn't fired. He chose to leave. But here's where things get even more interesting, and we're going to talk all about that. It is being reported that he was asked by Ohio State to not attend the national title celebration. What? Are we serious? Your ears are not deceiving you, my friend. The defensive coordinator who helped lead Ohio State to the national championship was asked by Ohio State to not attend the celebration. And well, what do you know? After the celebration, he winds up leaving. I've been following the situation closely the past couple of days. It's definitely one of the weirder ones I've seen in quite some time, especially with a team that just won the title. Because normally, when you see defensive coordinators leave or offensive coordinators leave to be the head coach elsewhere or take a better job, but that didn't happen here. He just left because, well, I'm getting too far ahead of myself. We're going to talk all about that. Strap in, buckle up, get your snack, get your popcorn, get your favorite meal you like to eat when you watch a video. Because trust me, I do the same thing, but I'm mad blah about your crap out. Now that further ado, let's get into it. Before we even get going, I got to address this comment from Mr. Caterpillar _0010. He sent a $2 super chat. Thank you. That is greatly appreciated. That will go to a good cause. How much more for you to oil up? I ain't gonna hold you. That is one frinky dinky comment, my brother. But to answer your question, at least a couple of bands. At least. By the way, shout out to Aiden. He's a member of the channel. What is this? Matt would do it for free. No, I wouldn't. Tell him to twerk too. All right, buddy. Here's another one from Dr. Boone. Hey, Bartholomew. Not my name. Waterboy from Notre Dame here. Still love and respect you, even though you are a professional Notre Dame hater. I am, proudly. Congrats on not 17. Hashtag Matt be mediocre. Shout out to James for the 5 ball, but what is this? Matt be the champ and talking about stuff he knows nothing about? All right, man. Is this what we're doing? Like, you think because you sent a couple of doubloons, you can just roast me and say hateful stuff? Nah, man, I'm not going for that. We're going to have to up the ante if we keep this up. But on a serious note, thank you guys for all the super chats, as do I. People have been super chatting a lot recently. I have no idea, but hey, I ain't complaining. As you know, that will get reinvested back into the channel, and I'm thinking about doing some special stuff for the reaction videos next year, so stay tuned for that. Maybe time for a new whiteboard, something like that. I don't know. We got a whole off season to think about it. Moving along here, though, to the football stuff and what we really need to be talking about. The Buckeyes can't stay out of the news, for better or for worse. As we all know, they won the championship. I've already clapped it up for them. Not going to do it again. Congratulations. That was nice and whatnot, but guess what, buddy? Yesterday's home runs don't win tomorrow's games. It is now time for the Buckeyes to officially be looking ahead to the future. Unfortunately for Ohio State, heading into next year, you're not going to be having the same defensive coordinator as you had this year. The breaking news came out a couple days ago. I'll read it off to you word for word. Ohio State defensive coordinator Jim Knowles is expected to become the next defensive coordinator at Penn State. Now, like everyone else when I saw this, I was sitting there going, what? Why? Why in the world would anybody leave Ohio State, who has a way brighter future ahead of them, for Penn State, who's irrelevant in college football? Let me give you an example. If he was leaving the defensive coordinator position at Ohio State to be the head coach at Penn State, I get that totally. But this was a lateral, or not even lateral, no. This was a downgrade. Where I was going at with this is you're switching from defensive coordinator at Ohio State to defensive coordinator at Penn State. It doesn't matter how you dice this up, just doesn't make too much sense. Just like this comment says right here, so the DC of the national champion decides to go be the DC for Penn State? OSU couldn't pay him enough or something? Not only is everybody asking the same question, but more importantly, everybody's confused by this. Somebody said in the comments he got tired of losing to Michigan. Shortly after that news came out, Pete Thamel reported Ohio State defensive coordinator Jim Knowles is finalizing a 3-year deal to become the new defensive coordinator at Penn State. It averages $3.1 million over the 3 years. Why that $3.1 million is important is because Ohio State was not offering him that same amount. It was way lower. Chuck said, what did Ryan Day do to make him do this? What's in it for Knowles? Must be something else going on besides money. I could sit up here and read off the comments. I think you get the point. Nobody understands this. Nobody gets it. But I want you to take a look at this. Yesterday, Brett McMurphy tweeted this out. Ohio State defensive coordinator Jim Knowles was asked by school to not attend Buckeyes national title celebration while he deliberated his options, source said. Knowles' representation tried to reach deal with OSU week before the title game and immediately after, but eventual offer was quote-unquote well below the competition, source said. Oh, interesting. So things are starting to make more sense and add up. So apparently this is a money situation, which doesn't shock me, but here's what does. Ohio State asked them to not attend the national title celebration. I mean, come on, man. What are we doing? Who cares if y'all are arguing about a contract or whatnot? At least let the defensive coordinator show up. Maybe I'm highly misinformed on this. Maybe I'm just completely out of the loop, but I don't understand what the big deal is about letting your defensive coordinator show up to the celebration, even if he's not happy with his current contract and y'all are arguing back and forth. I don't get that, but here's what I do know. He is officially gone. He's heading to Penn State. So what does that mean for Ohio State? Well, for starters, I think most people would agree with this. Jim Knowles was not the best defensive coordinator of all time. Was he bad? No. Was he great? I don't know, that's stretching it, but here's what I will say. It seemed like this year, that defense, it really got into that, what I would label as elite category. And I know Ohio State has a bunch of talent, and you can't just credit Jim Knowles for that because the players, well, they're the ones playing. But Jim Knowles, he definitely had a piece of that. Whether you think he was a main reason or a minor reason, he was at least bare minimum a reason as to why the defense was successful at the end of the season. I'm not going to sit up here and tell you it's a detrimental loss because it's not. At the end of the day, Ohio State, they're going to be fine. But here's what I will tell you. I don't know who they're going to get, but at this point in time, it probably will not be an upgrade or as good as Jim Knowles. Like I said, he wasn't anything special, but the grass isn't always greener on the other side. I'll also say this, I don't blame Ohio State for letting him walk either. I'm not mad at that at all. I've seen some Ohio State fans confused by this and they don't understand it, but I'm here to tell you, you should be A-okay. On the flip side of all this, what does it mean for Penn State? For starters, I think it's an excellent hire and you probably couldn't have done too much better. What I'm about to say next, though, I don't think Penn State fans are going to like it. However, I think Ohio State fans, number one, are going to agree with me, and number two, they can vouch for me. With Jim Knowles as your new defensive coordinator at Penn State, there's going to be growing pains. And I'm not talking about a little, no. I'm talking about a lot of growing pains. It's going to be rough. I think it's going to be one of those situations where you got to take 2 steps backwards to go 3 steps forward. And there's going to be some pressure on Knowles at Penn State, but not as much pressure as there was on him at Ohio State, and not nearly as much pressure as there is currently on James Franklin, because we talked about Ryan Day being a fraud this year. Well, I can't even say Ryan Day. Not Ryan Day, my apologies. James Franklin's a fraud because nobody actually thinks he's that great of a head coach. If you were to look at the definition of mid in the dictionary, more likely there's going to be a picture of James Franklin. That guy is mid, but I got to give him credit. He's consistent. Beats the teams he's supposed to. Never beats the teams he's not supposed to. And we're getting a little sidetracked here, but we also talk about Ryan Day not being able to win the game. Ha! LOL. James Franklin, well, what about him? That guy is the epitome of not being able to win the big-time game. There's many more things I could say. I'm curious. Let me know your thoughts on all this down below. But